Hello, everybody. This is Wednesday, January the 15th, 2014, and this is my English B class, and this is our Wednesday review session on English and everything we're going over. This week, your child will be tested on subjects and predicates. They will be given about 10 questions to read in their test, and they'll have to identify both the subject, simple subjects, and predicates, complete predicates, and simple predicates. Or compound predicates, not complete, I'm sorry. So they have to identify all of that on their test. Today I'll be asking whether or not they know about what compound predicates are, compound subjects, and compound simple subjects and simple predicates are. Alright, this is Ms.
Kennedy,
And this is Ms.
Micah,
And this is Mr. Swami, and we're going to go ahead and get this together and we'll get this out the way. All right. So, without the paper, what do you think the subject is?
what a sentence is talking about?
What a sentence is talking about? Now, can a subject be a person?
Yes.
Can it be a place?
Yes.
Can it be a thing?
Yes.
Can it be a adjective?
No.
Can it be a verb?
No.
No. So basically, a subject is always going to be a noun with stuff. Very good. What about a predicate? What's a predicate? It tells what the subject is doing and also tells about that subject, correct? So can a predicate contain a verb?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Can a predicate contain a adjective?
Yes.
Definitely. What is a compound subject?
It's a place that
Two or more words, yes. So it can be Kwame, Micah, and Kennedy are sitting here in class making a video. Then my compound subject is not just Kwame, but it's Kwame, Micah, and Kennedy. Right? Yes. All right. What's a compound predicate? Come on, now y'all. They talk louder than this, and the camera goes off camera, because I should have known this. Compound predicate. So what's a predicate? What do you say a predicate was? Mostly, what do you look for? But you look for what? A verb. Yeah, for the most part, you look for a verb. Two or more verbs, or you can have the verb and includes everything after the verb. Okay, so let's look at this. May help clarify something. So right here it says understanding subject and predicate is the key to good sentence writing, and that's why I have them reviewing this again. We did review this last year around, I think it was October, but I looked at some of their test grades and some of their journals, and I wanted them to have better writing skills, so we're redoing subject and predicate. The subject of a complete sentence is who or what the sentence is about. That again, the subject of a complete sentence, as you already said, is who or what the sentence is about. And the predicate does what? Can I talk just a little bit louder for you? There we go. So, the dog ran. What's the subject in the dog ran? The dog is the subject of the sentence because the sentence is telling something about that dog, true?
Yes.
And what is it telling? That he ran. So in this example, the subject is what? Dog, and the predicate is ran. The dog ran after the cat. Here we have more detail. Do not let more detail confuse you or get you all wound up and like, oh my God, what the world am I doing now? Same thing, same rules apply. The subject is still dog. Now how can we know that the subject is dog and not cat? Since the sentence seems to be about both animals. So what's the key word what key word makes it known that dog is a subject? Ran. Who is doing the running?
Dog.
So whenever you want to find out what the subject is, you always look at your verb and say, who's doing that verb? So who is doing the running?
Dog.
And what's he running after?
Okay.
So after the cat is the predicate. To determine the subject of a sentence, first find the verb, I just said that, and then ask who or what. In this sentence, the verb is ran. If we ask who ran, the answer is
No.
This is how we know that the dog is the subject of the sentence. What is the subject in the following sentence? Yesterday after lunch, the students were complaining about the short recess. Who was doing the complaining? The students. Now, it says right here, it says the sentence is telling about several things. Yesterday, lunch, students, and recess. How can we know which of those is the subject of the sentence? We first find the verb. Were complaining. Next we ask, who were complaining? The students, and immediately recognize that the students are the subject of the sentence. The predicate always includes the verb and tells something about the subject. Okay? In this example, we see that the students were complaining about the short recess. Now, on your homework, I think was a couple of you put, like when it says were complaining, you just put complaining. So in that case, you need to put were complaining. And it's still a simple predicate. It's still simple. Now, the compound predicate would be were complaining about the short recess. Simple predicate is were complaining. Why does it have to be were complaining instead of just complaining? Now, it shows more detail, and then were is a what kind of verb? We talk about what kind of verb were is and was and is and isn't were and was and is linking verbs? Yeah, they link with and have all of our linking verbs. So you can't put complaining without were. Okay. So what was the predicate there? The simple predicate. Yeah. In some sentences, the subject is not so easy to find. Here's an example of a sentence that seems to have no subject. Go sit down in that chair. What kind of sentence is this? When you declare something. You tell somebody to do something. A commanded sentence. You go to that. What do we say all command sentences point to? What's the subject of mostly all command sentences? You. Because you ask who go sit down. You go sit down. Right? I mean, if I just bust out and say, go sit down in that chair. And all y'all sitting down, y'all gonna probably look at me like I'm crazy. I mean, who are you talking to? Correct? If everybody sitting down except Mike and I say, go sit down in that chair, who am I talking to, Michael? Yeah. So commanding sentences are always directed towards, the subject is always going to be you. So if I ever give you a command sentence and say, what is the subject? It's always you. Yes. We see the verb is go sit. But who is doing the action? The only noun present is chair, but certainly the chair is not about to go sit. In this sentence, the speaker is giving a direct command to another person and might have said, you go sit down in that chair. The rule to remember for a sentence that is a command is that if the subject is not named, we can assume that the subject is you. That rule never changes. There is not the subject. Another example to watch for is a sentence that begins with there. T-H-E-R-E, not T-H-E-I-R. What's T-H-E-I-R?
Yeah.
It's showing possession. T-H-E-I-R shows possession. T-H-E-R-E shows direction. Good. Another example to watch for is a sentence that begins with there and has a form of the verb to be. Even though the word there is at the beginning of the sentence next to the verb, it is not the subject. See if you can find the subject and predicate in this sentence. There were 3 different desserts arranged on the table. There were 3 different desserts arranged on the table. What's the subject of that? Take a wild guess. Dessert. Why? Because the verb is what?
Arranged.
Were arranged. Yeah. What was arranged? The dessert. So there's that linking verb, that tricky linking verb. I thought that's like linking. But that tricky linking verb. Were, was, is, has, have. What else? Did I say were? All about linking verbs. So you see they're going to have to go with something else usually. Okay? So the verb is were arranged. And then you ask who or what were arranged. The answer is what? 3 different desserts. Now 3 different desserts is more of a compound subject, right? Because you're telling all the different adjectives. You don't have to say 3 different desserts. You can just say dessert, correct? The subject of a sentence includes the noun or pronoun along with all the words that modify or describe it. The simple subject is the noun or pronoun all by itself. The light blue shirt with the colorful pattern was her favorite top. In this sentence, shirt is the simple subject, right? And all of the descriptive words or adjectives tells us more about that shirt. The subject is what? And it's all its modifiers, light blue, color pattern. But the simple subject is simply what? Shirt. The predicate of a sentence is based on the simple predicate, which is the what? Which is the what? What's the simple predicate? I'm reading down here. The predicate of a sentence is based on the simple predicate, which is the verb. All the other words in the predicate tell more about the subject, and some of the words can modify the verb. In the example above, the word was is the verb, and therefore it is the what? It's a simple predicate. So you don't have another verb with was on this part. So sometimes it was and word by itself. Okay? You see what I'm saying? In other words, if you ever see was, you know it's a part of the verb. If you have was running, then the verb is If you have was, she was older, then what's the verb? No. Was. There you go. How you doing? Sure? Alright. Sometimes a sentence has a compound subject when there are 2 or more nouns in the subject. What's a compound subject? Yes. Bobby and his friends ran outside to play basketball. The verb is what? What's the verb? Ran. And we asked who ran? Now what's the compound predicate? Very good. The little girl, a compound predicate includes 2 or more verbs that relate to the subject. The little girl picked up her doll and climbed into bed. What's the 2 verbs there? Picked up, the verb. Picked up and climbed. Who picked up? Who climbed? So the answer for both verbs is the little girl. So you have a compound predicate. Now I know what you're thinking. You're probably thinking, Ms. Joy, I'm really confused right now. So sometimes it says compound, sometimes it says complete. Good. Sometimes they write the complete subject or write the complete predicate. On this sentence, I'll just give you compound and simple. Because complete subject of there were 3 different desserts arranged on the table. What's complete subject? 3 different desserts. Yes. That's a complete subject. So a complete subject is different than a compound subject. A compound subject has 2 or more nouns. A complete subject has all the adjectives describing that noun. What's a complete predicate? There you go. Arranged on the table. Why? Yeah, but arranged. What does on the table tell me? What's on the table tell me where it was what? Arranged. It tells me the location it was arranged on the table. That's a complete predicate. Don't worry about this for this test. I'll be testing you on simple subjects, simple predicates, compound subjects, and compound predicates. Okay? We'll go to complete subjects and all that later on. Probably next week. Alright, so what are you be testing on this week? Are there any questions about that at all? No? Come on. Time to ask them. You sure? What's your question? You got a question? You understand it? Sure? No, maybe. You some practice questions after this? Alright. Yeah. Alright, no questions. If you want to favor the recording, go back home and look at it. Because whatever you ask me now, you can go back later on and review that you asked me. You can say, oh, that's what she said about this. Now, if you want to go home and look at it after we review this right now. Alright, so y'all do the review right now. Y'all can go home and watch this video and be okay. Yes, ma'am. I'll say bye.